So I think this was the headline of the day. I just love this headline. I think I could just go with this, and that would be the show, and that's it because it's that good. That's from the New York Post. The Democratic debate was just old people yelling. Yep, that's pretty much it. That's all you need to know about the Democrat debate. Is it was a couple of old socialists yelling.
But isn't that this entire election? Is just old people yelling?
Well,
yes.
Not on the Republican side.
What?
Trump is old. Ted Cruz
and yelling a lot.
Yes, Trump is an old person yelling. Ted Cruz is only 45. He's young.
Really?
Yeah, Rubio is only 45. They were both really young.
I thought Rubio was younger than that.
No, a lot of people thought Rubio was a lot younger than Cruz. No, they're pretty much the same age. So that's kind of interesting. All right, you are listening to another edition of Beyond Reason Radio here at BeyondReasonRadio.com and streaming live in the Beyond Reason Radio app. And we're also live on Facebook as well. If you go like our Facebook page at Beyond Reason Radio, you can watch. But if you want to hear all the audio and everything, definitely want to go to the live stream and listen there as well. Or you can catch the podcast later. I am your voice of reason in a world that is beyond reason, Michael Yaffee, and we're joined by executive producer, Mr. Michael Formasano. And you can...
Evening.
Didn't mean to interrupt you, Mike.
It's okay. I was just saying
say hello to the world.
Hello, world.
Okay, there we go. He's a little sleepy today.
I'm very sleepy.
I'm a little sleepy
it's been a long
too.
week.
Yeah, I've had a long week too. I want you to also push the chat button. You can chat with us on Facebook on the live video stream, or you can chat with us on the app or at BeyondReasonRadio.com and comment as the show is going on. So, we actually have a very important show to do today. Because I happened to find this, and this was like an hour before the show. So I'm really glad I found this. But I happened to find this video that's going viral. Now, Mike, do you remember, it's been a few months now probably, when we played audio of Neil Cavuto, the Fox News guy, interviewing the college student. And we played a lot of audio, and she was trying to say why college is free, should be free and all that.
She couldn't come up with an answer to his questions.
Exactly. Well, there's another one out there. He interviewed another one. Now, this girl was much better. But this girl, Darlette Scruggs, she is a Bernie Sanders supporter, just like the other one was. She is I guess she went to some million student march, and she wears a shirt that says socialism. She wants socialism. She wants socialism. And she talked to Neil Cavuto, and we're going to go through a lot of this audio. It's long. I had to even cut some of this out because there's parts of it where they're just trying to talk over each other, and some people like that kind of stuff. That just annoys me. When like news anchors, when you go on this Fox News or whatever, and they're just like trying to talk over each other and yelling. I can't stand that. I just don't
counterproductive.
I just don't like that. But some people like it. Whatever. But they had this conversation, and she goes on Neil Cavuto, and she tries to tell us why, we should support Bernie Sanders, why we need socialism and free college education and healthcare and all this stuff. And we're going to go through it because it goes back to one of the central issues that I talk about a lot in this show. And that is the role of government in our lives. Because one of the goals of this show is I'm trying to get young people. I'm the voice of the millennial generation. This person that's about to talk's a millennial. Gives our generation kind of a bad name. But she's a millennial. But I want to tell you why I believe in limited government. Why I believe in small government. Why I believe the role of government should be strictly to the Constitution. Because when you talk to a lot of young people, they don't believe that. And she goes over that constantly here. So I'm going to go through a lot what she said and tell you why she is blatantly wrong. And I did some research on some of this stuff. It didn't take a lot of research. Most of this I just know because I know economics, I know politics, I know history. History is really the big one, by the way, because history, you can tell a lot of these people want socialism and all that stuff. They don't understand history and how this stuff really works. So, let's just play this. Darlette Scruggs, Bernie Sanders supporter, socialist. She's a YouTube phenom, apparently. And She's talking with Neil Cavuto, and here's the start of what she has to say.
What we are seeing is a crisis where millions of students are being faced with the question of debt and how they're going to pay for education. I myself being one of those young people that don't know what to do around the question of going to college, receiving a degree. And I'm told as a young person that that is a requirement in order to get a good job, in order to have a quality life, but yet it's become so inaccessible for a large majority of young students.
Okay, stop right there, Mike. She's right about one thing. We are in kind of a crisis about this thing, especially when it comes to student loans, because the rates are skyrocketing. So she's right about that. But it's her solutions that are extremely scary to me. It's beyond just ill-informed. To me, it's scary because I don't think she understands the consequences of what she really wants. And it bothers me. So I continue on with that, Mike.
Should pay for that.
I think the government needs to reassess its priorities, right? We prioritize a lot of things, but education doesn't seem to be one of them. For example, we just found out that the U.S. is launching a new initiative to upgrade its nuclear arsenal. That's going to cost $1 trillion over the next 3 decades. If there's $1 trillion to invest in nuclear weapons, there certainly is money to invest in education. Why do we prioritize war and nuclear weapons over education and justify having millions of students go into debt seeking a quality education?
Okay, stop right there, Mike. So she talks about, we need to spend more on education. This is what we hear all the time. We need to spend more on education. Why do we prioritize war and nuclear weapons over education? And once again, this goes back to the role of government. The main reason we do that is because the role of government is to protect us, to protect our rights. Now, she put out this number. We're going to spend $1 trillion to revamp our nuclear program. But then she goes, in the next 3 decades. So $1 trillion spread out in 3 decades. It sounds a lot when you say $1 trillion, but then when you say spread out in 3 decades, it's not that much. So that's a little trick she got there. But she talks about we need to invest more in education. Now, Mike, you probably think this. If just listening to her, you would probably think that the federal government doesn't spend anything on education, right? She's like, oh, we need to invest more. The federal government alone spends $107 billion a year on education. $107 billion a year. So it's a lie to suggest that we're not investing in education. But this is once again what I'm talking about. The government is heavily involved in education, and what's happened? Well, we have a problem. It's gotten worse. And yet her solution is more government, is more socialism. Why? I don't know. Let's continue on with what she said here.
It's a good point, but to let you think about it, we could prioritize all we want on things we want to do, but we don't have the money, right? We're running a $19+ trillion debt. So what do you say to that?
Well, that's always the excuse that is often being told, right? We don't have the money for anything. I say that our country really lacks creativity and the will. But what's being sold to me as a young person is this dream that if I go to college, if I seek an education, if I work hard, then I have the opportunities to advance in life. But what the system has shown us, and particularly this system of capitalism, is that this presents any substantial quality of life, no matter how hard you work. We're seeing poverty. 1/3 of U.S. households cannot afford basic necessities like rent, food, and transportation. This is a problem. We are seeing 1 million since last year alone default on their student loans. $176 million were garnished from working people wages to pay back student loan debts.
Okay, so stop right there, Mike. This is incredibly misinformed. She said the problem with this system, and specifically the capitalist system, those were her words, is it's not providing us our necessities. See, this is someone who doesn't know history. There is no system that has been more successful at providing people, more food, more housing, more clothing, more everything we need, plus an abundance of luxuries. There is no system in the history of mankind that has provided more of those things than capitalism. And yet she's saying capitalism has failed us. Yet she is on a Fox show. She seems clean. She seems well bathed. She has makeup on. Her teeth look white and straight. Her hair is done. She has clothes. She looks well fed. And she thinks the capitalist system is failing her. This, someone who doesn't know history, all of those things that I just mentioned, that she takes for granted every day, is not the norm in the history of mankind. The abundance of those things started with the rise of capitalism. So to constantly bash the capitalist system that has provided so many things, our necessities, doesn't make sense. You have to know history and economics. But she's right. There are a lot of problems, but she misdiagnoses the root of those problems, which is big government, which is what I talk about here. Capitalism has been very well at providing those things. Big government, and look at the history of the world again, has been very, very poor at it and often gets in the way of it. And it's often the cause of more problems, including student loan debt, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But that's just one of those things I expose. It really worries me when someone says capitalism is failing us, when we are surrounded by abundance that we take for granted every day as a result of capitalism. It's just the truth. And these things are not guaranteed. We think they're guaranteed in a world. No, they could go away if our society collapses, and you're wanting to put a system in place that could lead to that. And I'm trying to fight to save it. Mike, could you continue on here?
System doesn't have the money to provide for housing, food, shelter, and education, then maybe we need a new system because it isn't working.
All right, so let's say you do get a new system, Darletta, and the idea that, let's say, we pay for college for everybody. Then wouldn't those colleges, knowing that Uncle Sam or whomever is picking up the tab, wouldn't they just keep ratcheting up the price of college?
Yeah, we've seen the price of college already be ratcheted up. Over 1,000% we've seen increases in college tuitions.
Stop right there, Mike. Why have we seen those increases? See, she says the capitalist system is failing us. College, most universities that people go to in the country, most colleges that people go to in this country are public colleges. Public university, nonprofit. They're not a part of the capitalist system. So when you're saying the capitalist system is failing us, you can't then say colleges and the price of college is going up and that's a result of capitalism. No, it's a result of big government. It has gone up. All you have to do is, and you can look at the stats, look it up. As soon as we started heavily subsidizing student loans, as the more the subsidies go up, the more the price of college has gone up in history. I mean, it's almost a direct correlation. It's big government. These schools are run by government. And yet you're saying the capitalist system is what failed us? People don't remember, too, as a part of the Affordable Care Act, they also added another part of that law which took over the student loan industry. The government basically runs the student loan industry in this country right now. So she had even admitted herself that college tuition is constantly going up, and yet she doesn't admit the problem, which is big government, once again. Okay, Mike, can you continue on with that?
back into priorities, because in the U.S. you have 11 states that spend more money on prisons than they do public education. So where are our priorities?
Okay, stop right there. This is very clever of her, but it's wrong. She said we have 11 states that spend more on prisons than public education. That's not exactly correct. There's 11 states that spend more on prisons than higher education. But she didn't say higher education. She said public education. So you're thinking it's K through 12. You're thinking it's all education. That's wrong. If you look at most state budgets, most states spend most of their budgets on education.
Now, what about prison education?
Prison education?
Oh,
I guess there is education in prison. But see, she talks about our priorities. States spend billions of dollars every year. We're fifth. We're fifth in how much we spend per student, how much the government spends per student in the world. And yet it's still not working. And her solution is for the government to take it over. Even though the government already runs education, we need to prioritize. Money is not the problem here. But it just shows she's misinformed and misunderstands economics. All right, can you continue on, Mike?
The demands in Million Student March that has been added is a divestment for private prisons. The prison industry has been a boom. It's been a large investment because it's more profitable to funnel people into prisons, particularly black youth and black young people, than it is to provide quality and accessible education. We need to really question the society that will rather have most of its population in prison and jail cells than in classes receiving quality education.
Okay, stop right there. The idea that our society would rather have people in jail cells than in quality education is completely absurd. You can make an argument that there's too many people in prisons. You can make an argument against private prison systems and all that stuff. But the fact is there's far more people in this country in education than prison. It's just, I don't know. I think it's a false argument. It's a straw man argument. It's completely absurd. And I keep hearing this whole thing going around that we're putting people in prison just because we want to make a profit off of them. I have yet to buy that. There might be some people that want to do that out there, but as a society, I sincerely doubt that. Continue on here, Mike.
Solutions that Bernie Sanders has come up with, and I know you're a fan of his, not so much Hillary Clinton, is just to tax the rich more, to tax Wall Street. But to what end? Because even he has acknowledged taxing them to the hilt won't pay for all of this. So he has extended that to the middle class, raising taxes on the middle class. At least he's honest about it, because he says, yeah, you're going to pay more, but you're going to get more. Do you buy that? Do you think there is a limit to how much you could tax the rich, how much you could tax companies, how much you could tax anyone else?
There is a limit, but then that's when, Neil, that's why I talk about creativity, because we also have to look at not just taxing, but investments. When you look at the private prison industry, the two largest investors
she's obsessed with prisons. I don't understand the whole thing.
401k
okay.
plan providers, a Vanguard being one, Fidelity. That means people that pay into their 401ks, people that pay into their pensions, public sector workers, people that are looking to retire in the future, their money is actually being invested into CCA and GEO.
Okay, stop right there. So she wants private companies, Wall Street firms, to invest more in education. So you want capitalism to contribute. You just railed against capitalism, saying we need a new system of socialism, but then you would complain that private firms should spend and invest more in education because the government can't afford it all. Well, how are they going to be able to do that if you're going to totally throw away that system? And by the way, Bernie Sanders wants to break up those Wall Street firms. He wants to break up the big banks. How are they going to be able to invest in all this stuff if you're arguing about breaking them up? It's Beyond Reason, as this show is called. We're going to get to more of this after the break, and we have a lot more to get to. Mike and I, we have some lighter stuff to get to about things, well, dealing with the millennial generation. People are trying to reach the millennial generation, in the marketplace and in, just in business in general, and they're dumb because they don't understand. So we're going to give them a little education on that. You were listening to Beyond Reason Radio here at BeyondReasonRadio.com and streaming live on the Beyond Reason Radio app. We'll be right back.
It would be beyond reason not to listen to Yaffee on your TuneIn Radio app. Download the app today and search Beyond Reason Radio.
There are so many clothing fads out there that are just beyond reason. But here at Beyond Reason Radio, we want to let you in on a new patriotic fad that will never fade. That fad stands for Freedom All Day. Freedom All Day is the latest apparel brand for the true patriot who is not afraid to show it. Their mission is to give people an opportunity to show patriotism all year and to do it while looking good. Check out their latest stuff, including their newest t-shirts at freedomallDayapparel.com. At freedomallDayapparel.com, you can find all kinds of different cool-looking t-shirts, and they are all made in America. Go to freedomallDayapparel.com and be part of the fad that never fades.
If you miss any of the show, you can download the Beyond Reason podcast on iTunes.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. This is the voice of reason in a world that is beyond reason. This is Orlando's Smart Talk Radio. This is Beyond Reason Radio here at BeyondReasonRadio.com and the Beyond Reason Radio app. Or if you're listening to the podcast, make sure wherever you're listening to push the share button. And I appreciate that. We're going over some important stuff because I found this interview with a Young Socialist, Bernie Sanders supporter, who was talking with Neil Cavuto. And we talked about how a lot of her stuff is misguided. And it's really a lot of misunderstanding of history. Because I just find that a lot of young socialists, they just think that everything we have that we take for granted is just guaranteed. Like it's always been here. It's always going to be here. That if we throw away the capitalist system and put in a socialist system, that this stuff will still be here. That the economy will still create $18 trillion every year. The GDP will still be $18 trillion. Businesses will still make a lot of money and still create products, and investment will still happen. But if you're throwing away the capitalist system, it throws all that away as well. And it could collapse a very prosperous society that exists today. And then she blames capitalism for things like the problems in education, when education is usually, in most cases, run by the government. So it's not the capitalist system that is creating the problems in education. By the way, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, make sure to download the Beyond Reason Radio app or listen live on BeyondReasonRadio.com, and you'll be able to hear all the audio there as well. And push that share button. We like the share button, so you can push that as well. I'm Michael Yaffee, and we're joined by executive producer Michael Formisano. And let's get back to this, Beyond Reason interview with Darlette Scruggs, Young Socialist, and Neil Cavuto. She continues on here.
Two largest private prison corporations in America. So why don't we invest? Why don't we invest in education?
You know, you could talk
about
a
lot of people don't know that.
I understand, but you're talking about select investments they have that might mar, but otherwise is a valuable role some of these companies play to look after money for folks for many decades. Stepping back from that, though, I wonder where you draw the line on high taxes. I've heard, and you're a YouTube sensation. I mean, you really are a marvel to watch.
We can get trapped into this conversation of taxes.
Tax rate. What do you think it should be?
But what I would do is to correct, when we talk about taxing the 1%, and I did see the previous interview you did where you said the 1% is anyone making above $250,000 or more. I would completely disagree with you and what you think the 1% is. But when we say the 1%,
okay, stop right there.
We're talking about those that are making billions.
How do you disagree with math? She says, I disagree with you on what the 1% is. You know, 1% of people, the wealth earners in this country, is $250,000 or more. I disagree with you on what the 1% is. That's just math. That's just the facts. You can't disagree with math. That's what the 1% is. Oh, I disagree with you on what the 1% is. There is no disagreement. That's like, oh, 2 plus 2 is 4. No, I completely disagree with you. Our version of 2 plus 2 is actually 5. No, I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way. So now they're just changing math, apparently. It was just something that she said that really frustrated me. But go ahead, more audio here, Mike.
Billions of dollars, particularly off of industries like private prisons. When we talk about the 1%, we're talking about Wall Street bankers.
You want to go after the millionaires and billionaires.
Let's go 0.01%. We're talking billionaires, not millionaires.
Okay.
Billionaires. We're talking to Rothschild. We're talking to Waltons.
All right.
We're talking to the Koch
if
brothers.
you raised the taxes on all of those guys, you think it would pay for all of this stuff?
But the higher, statistics shows, the higher you go up that economic food chain, the less they're paying in taxes anyway. So there is plenty of room to actually raise taxes. The 0.01% are not paying the same amount of taxes as a working class person is paying. And we need to acknowledge that. We need to also look at the amount of corruption that is happening.
You were right about that, and you articulated well. But I'm just saying this. What I see is a great deal of creativity on some on the left to find great ways to get more money, to raise more money. But as you did, and you acknowledged about our debt in the beginning, we had our priorities screwed up. And that, too, I agree with you. So why can't we show as much creativity looking at how we're spending our money, and then rather than go knee-jerk toward trying to get more money? Find out first how we're spending it.
Neil, where are we spending our money? We're spending our money on wars. We're spending our money on tax breaks for big, wealthy corporations.
Well, how do you feel about spending money on
Medicare?
How do you feel about spending money on Medicare, Social Security,
That
Medicaid?
that is our budget. Our military budget was $607 billion, larger than 7 countries combined.
But how do you feel? Okay,
so we're not going to pit one being more important than the other. The issue is we're prioritizing war
so the military,
and prison
okay,
more
stop.
than education and health.
Stop right there. It's so frustrating. For one, yes, we're spending more on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid than military. Fine. She's talking about it's an issue of priorities. Honestly, we're spending too much on everything. She says we're spending too much on war, on tax breaks for corporations. You can't spend money on a tax break. You can lose revenue, but you can't spend money on a tax break. Maybe that's just semantics, but whatever. War. The reason why we have become such a safe and secure country is because we have by far the strongest military in the world. I guarantee you, if we cut down that military presence by as much as these people want to cut it down, your safety in the world is going to be in question. You know, just because if we don't spend the money to rearm our nuclear triad or whatever, the other countries are going to. I guarantee it. And that's what I talk about when it's the role of government. Security war is one of the main roles of government. So, but honestly, it's not really a matter of priorities. It's a matter of we're spending too much on everything. Everything. So if you shift priorities, we're still going to go into massive debt. And that's something that she does not care about, which she will allude to later in this show, which she's going to. Continue on with the audio here, Mike, for me.
Okay.
We're spending on the military. There are many conservatives, by the way. Wait a minute. There's a lot of conservatives who agree that number is too big and unaccounted.
Okay.
So then we have the money that's being spent on all these entitlements. Would you rein them in as well? Because they're growing at a far faster pace.
Actually, and I would also rein in the $1 trillion that's being used to upgrade our nuclear weapons.
Over 30 years.
That should not be a priority.
I understand
to have more
Why not? We need that.
I do want to ask you. I know you want to pair military. I know you want to pair military.
That is additional money.
It's all included in military plans. I do want to ask you, though.
I shouldn't have to answer the question of how to handle the deficit that the government created. I'm not a government
stop
official.
Right there.
I wasn't elected into office.
This is the end of the interview I'm going to play here. It's probably the most beyond reason part here. And what she just said is completely beyond reason. She said, I'm not a government official. I shouldn't have to worry about how the government gets rid of its deficits. You are actively campaigning and making YouTube videos and wearing shirts that say socialism, saying we need to spend all this money on different things. And then you say, oh, well, but I shouldn't have to know. I shouldn't have to know how we spend this money. You're campaigning for them to spend more money. And then you're saying, the deficit and stuff, we can't worry about how they do that. That makes no sense. By the way, I just got a comment on Facebook. Yes, you still got to listen to BeyondReasonRadio.com to get the audio that I'm commenting on. We haven't got the worked out with Facebook. Facebook's kind of different. So you still got to go to the audio. But yes. But this ending part is just unbelievable. And she continues on here.
To solve these problems. I'm a tax-paying citizen, a young person that is seeking opportunities in a system that is unable to provide it regardless of what the argument is. And I say that this system of capitalism has proven itself illegitimate and it cannot provide basic things like education, shelter, health care. We need to readjust how we view society.
It's so frustrating.
Has to get out here and defend the right to education.
Oh, it's so frustrating. She says the capitalist system has failed and been illegitimate to providing all the things we need in society. If all you have to do is read history to know that the capitalist system has been the most successful system in the history of mankind at providing us not only the things we need, but the luxuries that we take for granted every day, that she takes for granted every day. And then when you talk to her, she's actively campaigning out there for us to spend billions and trillions of dollars on education, free healthcare, all this stuff. And then you say, well, how is the government going to pay for it? Well, I'm just a tax-paying citizen. I can't get involved in how governments deal with their deficits. You're out there campaigning for them to do it. You are involved now. But see, they don't want to take responsibility for it. They just want the stuff, because they feel entitled to it. There is still a lot of opportunity in this country. Every person out there listening right now, you still have more opportunity to succeed than most people in the history of the planet. You enjoy more luxuries than most people in the history of the planet. And that's because of the capitalist system that person takes for granted, and she wants to throw it out. She wants to get rid of it for more government. And that's if she doesn't know history and economics. Frustrating. It's beyond reason. All right, thank you everyone for listening so far. When we get back, we're going to lighten things up. We're going to give some advice to some corporate bigwigs out there who just don't understand the millennial generation. You're listening to Beyond Reason Radio here at BeyondReasonRadio.com. Streaming live at the Beyond Reason Radio app.
If you heart Beyond Reason Radio, listen to the Beyond Reason Radio podcast on iHeartRadio. Just download the iHeartRadio app and search Beyond Reason Radio.
There are so many clothing fads out there that are just beyond reason. But here at Beyond Reason Radio, we want to let you in on a new patriotic fad that will never fade. That fad stands for Freedom All Day. Freedom All Day is the latest apparel brand for the true patriot who is not afraid to show it. Their mission is to give people an opportunity to show patriotism all year and to do it while looking good. Check out their latest stuff, including their newest t-shirts at freedomallDayapparel.com. At freedomallDayapparel.com, you can find all kinds of different cool-looking t-shirts, and they are all made in America. Go to freedomallDayapparel.com and be part of the fad that never fades.
You can now listen to the voice of the millennial generation on Podbean. Download the app or go to beyondreasonradio.podbean.com.
Yes, I am your voice of the millennial generation. I am Michael Yaffee, your voice of reason in a world that is beyond reason. Welcome back to Beyond Reason Radio here at beyondreasonradio.com. Make sure to check out the podcast. If you miss any of the show, check out the podcast pretty much anywhere you can think of, including iTunes and iHeartRadio. And I'm joined by executive producer, Mr. Michael Formasano. You can chat with the show on the Facebook Live video. You can chat there, or you can chat with the show on the Beyond Reason Radio app or beyondreasonradio.com. Just push, there's a little talk bubble button. Just push that, and you can comment on things we're talking about. And we definitely want to get your comments on things we're going to talk about here in the next segment, because businesses out there are trying to figure out new ways to reach millennials. And I feel like they're so misguided in so many ways. Mike kind of agrees with me. And with this first story, we talked a little bit about this before the show, and your reaction was exactly mine. We had the same exact reaction. So we're going to get to that.
It was Beyond Reason.
Thanks, Mike. We try to get the show name out there. All right, so here's the headline. AMC, the movie theater company, AMC, they're trying to reach millennials. Here's one of the ideas they have. They're considering texting-friendly theaters.
Terrible idea. Keep going.
Well, I mean, that's their main idea, that maybe that a lot of millennials do not want to go to theaters because they can't be without their cell phone. They can't turn off their cell phone nowadays. So they feel like if they have texting-friendly theaters where you can like maybe areas in the theaters or certain theaters where you can text and use your social media and all that stuff during the movie, that it would attract more in my generation.
And who's
in your generation?
Who wrote this list? Old people? Because that's what it sounds like.
Well, Variety says that... Probably, yes. Variety says that AMC is thinking about doing it. But AMC Theaters, the corporate AMC, the leaders in AMC, the CEO, are thinking about allowing texting-friendly movie theaters so you can text during the movie. And they think this will attract millennials.
So far, they're on the wrong path. Continue.
Well, I mean, that's their big idea.
Yeah, but there's so many other things they should be focusing on other than that to try to attract millennials. And
that's what I was going to ask you. In all of the reasons why you might not go see a movie, Mike, has not being able to text during the movie ever been an issue for you?
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
Absolutely not. That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
And it's not like people don't just dim the light on the phone anyway and text anyway.
Well, that's true. But, I mean, when I'm watching a movie, I'm interested in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm not texting. And I think most millennials are that way. They're there to see the movie. So when I asked you this before, you had the same reaction that I did. What is the number one reason you as a millennial will not go see, I mean, we still see movies sometimes, but usually will not go see a movie in the theater?
By far, the ticket price.
Exactly.
By far.
Too expensive.
That is the reason. It's not because you can't text in the theater. It's because they're expensive.
And I don't see that in any of these ideas to better movies. They're making movie theaters where you can dine in during the movie. They're putting bars in the lobby. They have this texting-friendly idea. None of their ideas is to lower the prices.
It's that simple.
And not only of the tickets, but, I mean, it's what? It's like $5 for a soda?
Yeah.
To get a meal. I mean, if you want to go take your date to a movie, especially an AMC theater, and you want to buy them popcorn and drinks and maybe candy, you're spending at least $50.
That's with tickets?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, you can't go to the concession stand without spending $20.
Tickets.
Easily.
At AMC right now, a regular ticket when you go to a regular movie time, not a matinee or something, $11.98. $11.98. When you go to Redbox, it's $1.50.
And a pizza is only $5 at Little Caesars.
Yeah, exactly. That's a whole pizza. So, of course, people are going to wait, rent a movie at Redbox, watch it on their big screen, because you're spending $6 versus $20 to $50.
Now, some theaters, they're redoing the theaters, making the experience better. That's good.
I mean, that's fine.
That's nice. That makes it nicer to go out to the movies.
But if you think that's going to make people rush to the theaters, it's insane. It's crazy. So I'm glad your reaction was the same as mine. Lower movie theater companies out there. Listen to me. You need to hire me.
Now, your argument on that was maybe, it's not the theater's fault. Maybe it has to do with what the movie...
Well, they have deals with the movie picture companies and all that stuff, and they might charge so much.
But here's my flip side of that coin, okay? You don't think the movie picture companies, you don't think they're feeling the burn in their wallet as well? because people aren't going and spending
exactly
as much in the box office.
Eventually,
so
they're going to have to lower the price.
They have to. We know DVD sales are struggling. We know nobody buys DVDs anymore. They have to be feeling that. So maybe
why? And they're trying 3D. Nobody likes seeing 3D movies, but they're trying that. I don't understand it. Movie theater companies, movie picture companies figure out a way to lower the prices. If you want millennials in the theater to see new movies, figure out a way to make it less expensive. The experience is just way too expensive. And with the economy right now, millennials are not making as much money as they would like to be. They're not going to pay that money to go see it. I'm sorry. Now, one idea I had was make it cheaper for every week it's out. So you make it like $9 when it first comes out, and then drop it $1 every week it's out.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, movies, there's dollar theaters already that just wait for a while.
Well, but you have to wait like months.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is they can slowly bring it down to that.
Slowly bring it down, because movies, they're not as packed when they've been out a little longer. Mm-hmm. But so if you want people to go see the movies, that time, fill the theaters, then lower the prices. And by the way,
keep some money coming in instead of no money.
Yeah, and by the way, when you talked about the dollar theaters and stuff, when I go to a dollar theater, they're always packed. They're always packed. That tells you right there what the problem is.
Yeah, it's
the price. That's the problem.
On the chat line here, we have Amy B saying, that's why people sneak in snacks from the nearby Dollar Tree.
Exactly.
Dollar Tree's making a killing. That's what we need to do. We need to open a Dollar Tree next to a movie theater.
Brilliant. That is brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? By the way,
your big purse.
The next thing that I had that they thought another business that tried to do something to attract younger people and failed was McDonald's. One thing McDonald's did is they introduced in 2013, they introduced the McWraps.
I remember. McWraps.
You know what it's like? Yeah. It's supposed to be a healthier option where it's in a wrap and you have food.
Yeah, they're basically taking a Big Mac and getting rid of the buns and throwing a pita in the mix.
Well, they're getting rid of it. They're getting rid of the McWraps because they figured out people aren't buying them. What's the biggest reason why people aren't buying them? Because people don't go to McDonald's to eat healthy.
True.
All you have to do is look at Five Guys, and you look at Five Guys and some of these other new burger places. They're not trying to be healthy. They're just trying to create a quality product that you're willing to pay for and go to because it's good. If McDonald's focuses on what they're good at, just like the movie theaters, and focuses on that and makes that good and makes it affordable, people are going to go get the product.
What about the snack wrap? They're not getting rid of that, are they? Because the snack wrap is good. Crispy, not
what's
grilled.
The difference?
Snack wrap is small. It's like a little
One thing I do like the
snack wrap.
Well, I don't know, but that's affordable, right?
Yeah. It's
cheap. So that's another example of what I'm saying. But one thing I do like McDonald's has, I don't want them to get rid of their McCafe stuff because I like a frappe. Anyway, speaking of McDonald's, in the last segment, we have stories so beyond reason, they left me flabbergasted. And there's a McDonald's one as well. And McDonald's has an idea that might be brilliant. So the McWrap idea was a terrible idea. But this new idea they have might be the best idea they ever came up with, ever. And I love it. So we're going to get to that. You're listening to Beyond Reason Radio here at BeyondReasonRadio.com and streaming live on the Beyond Reason Radio app. We'll be right back.
You want to listen to Beyond Reason Radio live on your smartphone? Download the Beyond Reason Radio app now. Available in the Google Play or Apple App Stores.
There are so many clothing fads out there that are just beyond reason. But here at Beyond Reason Radio, we want to let you in on a new patriotic fad that will never fade. That fad stands for Freedom All Day. Freedom All Day is the latest apparel brand for the true patriot who is not afraid to show it. Their mission is to give people an opportunity to show patriotism all year and to do it while looking good. Check out their latest stuff, including their newest t-shirts at freedomallday.apparel.com. At freedomallday.apparel.com, You can find all kinds of different cool-looking t-shirts, and they are all made in America. Go to freedomallDayapparel.com and be part of the fad that never fades.
You know what's beyond reason? Yaffee is now on YouTube. Go to YouTube now and just search Beyond Reason Radio.
Welcome back to Beyond Reason Radio. This is Orlando Smart Talk Radio. You're listening to the voice of the millennial generation, or the Yaffee generation. And the conscience in your ear telling you the difference between right and wrong. If you missed any of the show, make sure to catch the podcast of it later. The best way to do that, download the Beyond Reason Radio app and do that as well. Or you can catch it anywhere else and share with your friends. So, Mike, we're about to introduce what some people think is the best segment of the show. Go ahead, Mike.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a flabber, prepare to be gasted, as Yaffee brings you this week's segment that left him flabbergasted.
If you have a flabber, wait till it's gasted. That's brilliant. That was good.
Gasted.
Prepare to be. Yeah, if you have a if you have a flabber, prepared for it to be gasted. I like that. All right. Speaking of McDonald's has an idea to get more people to go to their restaurant. Here's the report from Fox News that gives them the idea. It left me flabbergasted because it's really brilliant. I wish I would have thought of it myself. Here it is.
If it's a texting section, I'm going to scream.
It's not a texting section. I hope not.
It better not be. This computer's going out the window if it is.
It's not a texting section at McDonald's.
All right, let's see what it is.
And McDonald's is considering, get this, all-you-can-eat French fries. The burger chain keeps tinkering with different ways to get more customers in the doors, and the unlimited French fries might be a way to do it. The test is expected at a new restaurant to open in Missouri. Ladies, back to you.
Unlimited French fries. It's brilliant.
Even the Fox anchor had to say it's brilliant. Mike doesn't like the idea. I think it's brilliant. Unlimited French fries. Some McDonald's, and I guess they tried it in Japan actually, have trotted out the idea that you could buy all-you-can-eat McDonald's French fries. Tell me that's not genius. I really like McDonald's French fries, so I think... Why are you giving me that look, Mike?
This disappoints me.
Why?
I'm a fan of McDonald's fries as the next guys, but
I want them now.
You're telling me I had to sit through 2 health classes in high school, watch Super Size Me 4 times.
Oh, that movie. That movie is hard to watch.
You're telling me they got rid of my childhood supersized fries?
I know, I miss the supersized fries.
And made you feel guilty about it? But now they have all-you-can-eat fries?
This is true. I think they should bring the supersize back, honestly. I miss the supersize. Do you remember the supersize? Remember the size of the supersized Coke?
It was ridiculous. It didn't fit in the cup holder.
It was like this big.
It's like a liter.
That was a little much, but I do miss the supersize fries. But all-you-can-eat fries, what do you guys think about that out there? All-you-can-eat McDonald's fries. I think it's great.
There goes our obesity rate again, going back up.
Whatever.
Look, I love the fries. I do. I think they make a big deal out of being healthy. Well, clearly not, because they're taking away the McWraps.
That's the thing. They tried to make a big deal to be healthy. It didn't work, because that's not why you go to McDonald's.
So what's the next movie going to be called? All You Can Eat Fry Me?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, the guy on that movie, he had supersized meal. He went 3 times a day. And it had
Breakfast,
supersized everything for like a month. Of course, that's not going to be good for you.
Of course, you're going to have a mild stroke.
And McDonald's said that movie is not what made them get rid of supersize. Whatever, I'm sure it is. It's pretty successful. All right.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
All right, one last thing that we got to play here. I almost went the whole show without mentioning Trump.
I was really hoping this was a typo. I was really hoping we really didn't have one more audio
But it left
cut.
me flabbergasted. And it's something Trump said in Pennsylvania earlier this week, trying to once again pander. This is what he said.
I went to school in this state, right? We know that, right? So I know a lot about Pennsylvania, and it's great. How's Joe Paterno? We going to bring that back, right? How about that whole deal?
He said, "How's Joe Paterno?"
How about that whole deal?
Joe Paterno's dead. He's dead. He's not alive. He died.
Slow clap for Trump.
And not only that, but he was fired from the school right before and everything because he knew about a coach that was molesting children and did nothing about it. So
this took a turn.
I mean, that was a big deal when it happened, but he's like, how's Joe Paterno? What are we going to bring that? Now, he says he was talking about the Joe Paterno statue, but it's just, that's how he's just trying to pander to the schools. Where he's like, oh, man, Joe Paterno, how's he? He's been dead for a few years now, Trump.
Yeah, how do you feel about yourself?
I mean, that's why it left me flabbergasted. So, we're done with the show. We're done with the show, everybody. It's been Beyond Reason. A little bit lighter today, but I like it. Make sure that if you miss any of the show, check out the podcast of it. Just go to the website, beyondreasonradio.com. I end with this verse every time, and I'll end with it again. So you have a good weekend. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for joining me. We'll catch you guys on Monday.